few generations ago now, the EPA was created when we began to learn what pollution can do to whole communities, towns and cities and everybody that lives in them. We created this massive thing called the Environmental Protection Agency. We, because we're Americans, right or wrong, we did this. And it was right. It was the right thing to do. Inside of that were a whole bunch of new laws about what you can and can't put into the air and the water around us. We actually began caring. We began enforcing caring because we cared before this. We've always wanted good water, right? So, Environmental Protection Agency was set up to protect natural resources against the harms of man-made pollutions. One of the huge pieces of this when it was enacted is all these old industries that were hanging around doing this polluting stuff that were actually the major causes of it. So the EPA wrote laws, said, you're breaking the law. And the companies came back and said, well, but we've been here. You're going to grandfather us into this, but we'll play with you. So there's new pollution controls. Generations ago, new pollution controls, air scrubbers, things like that, for removing soots and whatever's in those soots, the heavy metals, the leads, the whatever else might be in those soots coming from coal-fired plants. So the EPA said, we've got to clean this up. And the company said, we can't afford to clean this up. And then the EPA said, well, you have to clean this up. So the companies went back to Congress and had a law written that they only had to add pollution controls, update their facilities, if more than 25%, I believe was the number, of the facility was going to be renovated or updated or upgraded. So now you've got a 25% line. Anything you do to that plant that's going to cost you more than 25% of its value is going to force you to put in tens, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of pollution equipment. So you keep that number in mind. Every upgrade, every change to your plant, you have that number in mind. You have to stay below that or you open up a can of worms. And you make a profession out of avoiding putting pollution controls. A whole engineering facility, group, region, a tower of knowledge goes into overdrive avoiding hitting that 25% mark on facility improvements. For generations they do this and get away with it and roll in money and play with our politics with the money they roll in. These things, these fundamental institutions need to work. I guess that's the point. Wish I could give you a hint how. Politics, what a word.